President Donald Trump with a shocking claim on social media, saying President Biden's preemptive pardons for members of the House January 6 committee investigating the attacks on the Capitol are, quote, void, vacant, and of no further force or effect. Why? The president claiming Biden used a device known as an Autopen to sign them.
Who was signing all this stuff by Autopen? Who would think you signed important documents by Autopen?
The evidence for that claim appearing to come from a recent Heritage Foundation post on Twitter, showing differences in Biden's signatures in the Federal Register.
You don't use Autopen. It's, number one, it's disrespectful to the office. Number two, maybe it's not even valid.
President Biden has not publicly remarked on Trump's post, and a spokesperson didn't reply to a request for comment from NBC News. But experts say even if he did use an Autopen, that wouldn't make his orders illegitimate.
The text of the Constitution in Article 1 refers to the president signing it. It doesn't say literally whether that must be, by his physical hand or not.
A 2005 Department of Justice memo explicitly stating that a president does not need to personally sign bills and that the president may direct, quote, a subordinate to affix the president's signature to such a bill, for example, by Autopen.
The Office of Legal Counsel issued an opinion that Autopen signatures are okay, but that doesn't have the same force as, say, a court actually making that determination or Congress, say, weighing in on the issue.
But what exactly is an Autopen? Put simply, it's a device that uses a pen to recreate signatures or handwriting, even if the, quote, signer is not in the room. President Obama apparently became the first president to use an Autopen to sign an actual bill when he extended the Bush-era Patriot Act while he was in France, a move that caused a bit of a stir at the time.
Use of the Autopen must be directed directly by the president.
But it's been used in the White House.
So what they want you to believe is the real issue is the Autopen, whether or not it should be used. And that is not the issue at hand, is it? This report from NBC lets me know, there's something here, all right. Because do you notice when they were talking about Twitter, they didn't call it X. They called it Twitter. Everybody knows it's no longer Twitter. Now, some may think, Stu, you're making a big deal about nothing. That was all by design. Twitter. Because Elon Musk doesn't own Twitter. He owns X. And that is a big deal. And I'm just pointing out these little subtleties, okay? They want you to believe that this is about the Autopen. That's not what this is about.
House for decades, even centuries, for things like written communications and autograph requests. The Thomas Jefferson Foundation says our third president was known to use a precursor to the Autopen known as a polygraph for making a copy of handwritten letters. President Harry Truman is often said to be the first president to use a fully robotic Autopen in the 1950s. John F. Kennedy was said to be such a prolific user of the Autopen that it became the subject of a book, The Robot That Helped Make a President.
See, they want you to be fixed on the use of the Autopen. And they went all the way back to Jefferson. I mean, dang. Well, clearly Trump is wrong.
And Lyndon Johnson's use of the machine even made the cover of the National Enquirer in 1968. Regardless of how Autopen has been used in the past, it's important to note that looking at signatures' digital copies in the Federal Register might not be the best way to see how a document was signed. The National Archives, which runs the Federal Register, telling fact-checker Snopes each new administration provides a digital signature file for the Federal Register, quote, which uses it to create the graphic image for all presidential documents published. NBC News asked the National Archives for comment and has yet to hear back. But that's why many Biden signatures would look the same, as would President Trump's signatures in the Federal Register, from both his first term and this one.
See, they want you to be transfixed on the Autopen, but that's not the issue. The real issue is whether or not Joe Biden knew, authorized his signature to be affixed to certain documents. That's the real issue here. It's not the Autopen. That's why they're telling you about the Autopen, because that's not at issue. What is at issue is, for instance, when Mike Johnson asked the President Biden, why did you turn off the pump line for liquefied gas? And Biden said, I didn't do that. So yes, you did by an executive order. I didn't do that. That was just a study. Turns out it was an executive order. His signature was on it. And he had no clue. See, that's what's at issue. They want you to believe it's that machine. It's that machine. Well, Obama used it. I mean, for goodness sake, Jefferson used it. Now, think about this. The easy fix is to have the president do an interview with George Stephanopoulos on ABC News and tell them, yes, I absolutely know exactly what I did. But then, if you do that, really? Because Mike Johnson's got you dead to rights. You had no idea that your signature was affixed to this executive order. Well, are there other executive orders you had no idea that your signature is on? Of course there are. And here's what I see playing out. You can't require former President Biden to remember every single document he signed and he authorized. You can't allow him to do that. You can't bring him before Congress. You can't even do this in an interview. But by the Republicans' own admission, President Biden was in a mental decline the day he took office. And boop, there it is. And they'll use that against us. This is a very easy fix. Just have Joe Biden get on television and say, no, I knew exactly what my signatures is affixed to, and I authorized all of them. Unfortunately, you're going to have to come out and say that Mike Johnson was a liar. No. And then you're going to have to prove that he was a liar. Somebody say, still, of course he can do that. He can do that very easily. No, he can't. Because it turns out, at least according to reports, when he found out that his signature was on it, he rescinded it. Well, Mr. President, why did you rescind it? Because that corroborates what Mike Johnson said happened. It's not cut and dry. Forget about the Autopen. That's just all misdirection. What it'll boil down to is whether or not Jill Biden holds a grudge against the Democratic Party for ousting her out of the White House. I'm telling you, she's going to be holding on to that grudge because she went out there, and it's my assertion, she voted for Trump. All right, that's it for now. If you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe. And if you're following me on Rumble, please press that follow button. And until the next time, God bless.